Ladies and gentlemen, get ready to say yes to turn up the volume on your creativity. Our next guest is a powerhouse in the worlds of hospitality, music, and personal transformation. He is an internationally renowned speaker, a USA Today bestselling author, a DJ who doesn't just spin records, he spins fresh new perspectives and possibilities. He has awakened the creativity and resilience within professionals who didn't even realize their spark had dimmed. And he does it in the most unforgettable way by blending music and nostalgia and storytelling to reconnect people with their most inspired, yes filled selves. Whether he's rocking the stage at a keynote or transforming a room with his turntables or mentoring future leaders, he leaves an indelible mark on every audience he touches. And I can say that personally because I saw him speak last week and now I've got him on the show. So get ready because today he's here to help you say yes to creativity, yes to reinvention, and yes to the beat of your own success. Let's give it up for the one, the only Amani Roberts. Welcome to the Yes Show. I'm your host, Christine Trippi. Each week, we'll explore the life-changing power of saying yes, along with hotel leadership made easy. Get ready for inspiration, fun, and sweet hospitality. Let's go. Amani, you said yes to taking your hospitality experience and blending it with music to transform lives. Tell us about this life-changing yes.
Yes, my life-changing yes, I decided to retire from Marriott and really pursue DJing full time. I was inspired by a DJ by the name of Biz Markie. I saw him perform and I wanted to follow his footsteps, but at first I didn't think it was a legitimate career, so I stayed and worked, traditional, and then finally I had the courage enough to step outside on my own and go for it, and it's taken me to places that I never would have imagined.
That is so amazing. Now tell us a little bit about what you did at Marriott.
Yeah,
What
so
you worked for,
Marriott,
you probably worked for many companies, but the last one was
yes.
Marriott, is that right?
Marriott's probably the last company I worked for. Yeah, so I was general manager of a hotel. I was director of marketing at three hotels, and then my last job with Marriott, I was like a regional director of sales and marketing. And I started as a bellman. Started as a bellman. I was 17 years old and worked my way up from there. Traveled across the United States, DC, Atlanta, Chicago, Dallas, Miami, LA. Worked in all those different markets in different jobs, and it's just created a strong foundation for me to continue on the entrepreneur life.
That is so awesome. And this is something I talk about in my talks is that in hospitality, we all begin so humbly. And I just love hearing your start of your journey. I also began at 17 as a van driver slash laundry girl.
There we go. Yes,
So,
yes.
so cool. Now, you were saying that you didn't think it was a legitimate position. Now, when DJing, how long ago was that you did that?
So I first saw Bismarcky in the mid to late 90s, and
Okay.
then it took me until 2007 or 8 to start to pursue it myself. So it took me about 13 years to start to go for it. Then I went to a school for DJs called Scratch Academy,
Oh,
and that's when I really kind of elevated my performance and my knowledge base, and then I kind of took it off and running from there.
funny. It's funny because I feel like I don't know if it's just in my Raz right now, but I feel like so many people I'm talking to are learning how to become DJs, and it's becoming like a really big thing. And I don't
Yeah.
know if it's just something that I'm now aware of or if it always was. Tell me, was it?
It definitely wasn't always was. I think
Okay.
nowadays the barrier to entry is so low that people can buy equipment and get lessons and do it. It's so low compared to when I was coming up. It was a little bit of higher barrier, so you had to really put more work in.
Mm.
So it was a little more difficult then. Nowadays it's a little easier to get into it, but to stay in it, it will still take you some time.
Okay. So, what is your favorite kind of music to play?
I love R&B music. I'm an R&B fan. Some of newer genres that I like to play now would be Afro beats. I love Afro beats. I'm a piano. And then,
Okay.
I love good hip hop, old school funk, even some freestyle. But those are kind of my sweet spots.
Okay. So in high school, all I listened to was Quincy Jones, Lionel Richie, Whitney
Okay.
Houston,
Yeah.
James Ingram, Jeffrey Osborne, Jeffrey
Okay.
Osborne.
Yeah.
What would you classify that
Yeah.
music?
Yeah, that's R&B for
That
sure.
would be
R&B
R&B, right? Okay, I
with a
want to
little
make sure.
splash of pop. Yeah, with a little splash of pop. But yeah, yeah, for
Okay.
sure. Yeah.
That I feel like I don't they don't make that music anymore.
Well, it's funny you asked that because I think that R&B music is still made. It's just not played on radio like it used to be. I think there are
Oh.
different genres that have taken the place of what's played on radio, popular radio. So you have to find and you have to dig for it a little more,
Mm,
which kind of I discovered doing the research for my book or whatever. But it's still out there. It
okay.
just takes you a little bit more digging to find it. But you list some great artists like Jeffrey Osborne, LTD.
Mm.
Like that's a good choices. Props.
Yes.
Good taste.
Well, every single one of my sophomore year pictures on the back in pink ink says, I love Lionel and I love pink.
Okay. All right. That's good. That's
That's so
amazing.
funny. That
Okay.
is so funny. It brings back memories. Okay, back to business here. So you blended hospitality, your hospitality career, and the music that you love. Talk about leading from the heart and doing blending the things you love in life. You must love just getting up every day for work. Um, and I know you've put together a framework that you teach people. Tell us a little bit about your framework.
Yes, so that would be my Coppers framework, and I use lessons learned from R&B groups to teach the framework. So the framework is called Coppers. It stands for like C is creative risk, O is collaborate with others, P is be persistent, the other P is practice resilience, E is embrace failure, R is reinvention, and S is stay curious. That's kind of the framework. I mainly focus on either resilience, practicing resilience is probably the most popular one, embracing failure, collaborating with others, or creative risks. So yeah, those are kind of the framework and the ones I focus on the most.
Okay, I love that. So can you elaborate a little bit on maybe one of those areas and give our listeners a little lesson?
Sure. I think the one that most people can relate to will be embrace failure. So
Okay.
we're all big fans of like Destiny's Child. You know,
Mm.
Beyonce and Destiny's Child, but when they were on Star Search, they lost. They came in second. They came in second to a group. First of all, they were called Girls Time back then. They came in
Oh,
second to a group called the Skeleton Crew. Now, have you ever heard of the Skeleton Crew?
no.
So, Destiny's Child went back. They changed their name. They switched out some members. They started to focus more on singing, less on rapping. They came back as Destiny's Child, and they kind of just blew up, and they did extremely well. So they embraced failure, came back again, and kept moving forward and did some amazing things. So that's just a quick example of one of the frameworks and the stories I tell, but it's the one that most people relate to because we all have failed sometime in our lives.
Hmm. So do you have any tips on how you are resilient and how you do overcome failure?
So for being resilient, I have another smaller framework called the Tiny Steps Challenge. And what that means is you set a really big goal and then you try to accomplish 3 steps per week to stack your wins. Because if you can stack your wins, you look up, you've got 50, 70, 100 wins. Even if you maybe suffer a few defeats, you're still way further ahead than you used to be. So that's kind
Hmm.
of a quick framework of being resilient. And really, it's as simple as just keep moving forward, but it's as complex as keep moving forward. And when I say that, uh, uh, it's easy to say keep moving forward. It's easy to talk about it. To actually keep moving forward in the natural is very challenging. People get stuck, they stop, they give up. So that's kind of resilience, how simple it is, how complex it is, and then a challenge that you can do to help you stack your wins.
Yep. I love it. One of the things I do in my Crown Society goal setting, we do goal setting every month. And I have it, I just, since you're talking about it, I have it right on my
Okay.
desk here.
All right.
And what this is a habit tracker. And
Mm.
every quarter, I start a new winning habit. And what one thing I want to do is I will do is get back to running. So on my
Oh,
habit tracker, I've got it right in front of me, that visual. I'm going to run twice a week. Now it's
okay.
thunderstorming outside right now, so not today.
Not today. Maybe tomorrow though. That's
But it's
good.
nice to have that visual, and when you can check it off, that's a great way to add for your tiny steps. I love
Okay.
that.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
You know what? I'm going to put the habit tracker in the show notes if anybody wants to add up their tiny steps on the habit tracker. Cool or
There you go.
cool?
Yes, yes. Very
Very
good. Well
cool.
done.
Well, how about a tip for our sales leaders out there? You are an experienced sales leader with hospitality companies, the largest in the galaxy.
Yeah, yeah.
What are some of your secret tips that you used to be such a superstar back in the day?
So I'll share two, one on the
Ooh.
beginning and then one on the end. So in the beginning, which kind of speaks to the framework, like I always like for us to be creative when we're sending out proposals or pitches to clients. So if you're like trying to book a hotel for a conference and you're going to be going against all the major destinations, try to do something that's creative that'll catch the client's eye, so at least that your proposal will come to the top. For example, we used to have this large poster of our hotel when I was in Miami, and we would send it to clients, and we would circle in black ink one of the rooms on the top floor, say, "This is the room we have reserved for you. We can't wait to see you here." So just something little, give them a poster, little that's on the front end. So be creative when you're sending your pitches.
Love that.
Number two is the fortune is in the follow up. And so many people just don't follow up. I would say over 80, 85% of people don't follow up when it comes to leads. So once you send out the pitch or you send out the proposal, make sure you follow up consistently because otherwise they'll forget about you. And then be creative with your follow up. Like maybe it's instead of sending an email, you use Bomb and you send a video message from you. So you're
Mm-hmm.
looking into the camera saying, "Hey, this is Amani. I can't wait for you to come down to our hotel and check us out. By the way, I know that you are a Golden State Warriors fan. Great job on that win last night. I'm out." Stuff like that. So follow up and
Yes.
be creative when you make your pitches. Those are my two tips.
Be memorable.
Yes.
That them in both the start and the end. I love those tips.
Yeah.
I've never used Bomb, but I use Loom.
Okay. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I bet it's very similar.
Similar.
And what I
Yeah.
love about Loom is it could tell you if the person has watched it. So
Right.
I'll give you an example. I was at a conference, someone saw me speak and said, "Oh, we would love to have you at our conference." So I sent them a Loom video and I saw that they never watched it. So I didn't want to be, that pest, but I
Yeah.
saw they never watched it and I didn't want them to think I didn't follow up. And that is what she thought at first. But then I emailed her and I said, "Oh, I explained, but
Good.
for some reason the video didn't get to their email. Maybe it
Yeah.
went to junk or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's really good because then you can see if they watched it.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Agreed.
Love it.
Agreed. Great tips. Yes.
Very good. I love that. Now, I want to ask you a question. I know you have a USA Today best-selling book.
Yes, 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 we
You're
do.
so awesome. You have so many
Thank you.
things
I
going
have it
on.
right here. Yes.
Yeah, yes, let me see it. We just met last week, so I
Right.
haven't had time to get the book. I usually love to show the book myself, but I
Okay.
will be getting it. Show it
Thank
one
you.
more time. Show it one
Okay.
more time. I
Yes.
want to show everybody the Quiet Storm, and I
Yeah.
see all the musicians on there. Tell us a little bit about your book and what was your passion for getting that done?
So the book is called The Quiet Storm: A Historical and Cultural Analysis of the Power, Passion, and Pain of R&B Groups. It was my thesis in grad school. Went to Berklee College of Music and got my master's in music business. And
Wow.
this was my thesis, and it just takes you through the history of the top R&B groups per decade from the 50s to the 2000s. And then afterwards, the last 20% of the book will just examine what's happened to them, why they disappear, what's going to happen next, and some analysis. So that's the book. It's a really cool historical reference to all these top R&B groups, their pictures, their charts, their hits on the charts, and then we talk about what happened to them at the end.
I love that. Do you have any Lionel Richie in that book?
The Commodores are in the book. Yes, the Commodores are
Okay.
in the book. So yes, they're there. So props to you.
What's
Yes.
your favorite Commodore song?
Ooh, Brick House. Brick House
Oh,
would be the
Brick
favorite.
House.
Yes, yes, yes. So that would be my favorite song. And you asked about. I just really wanted to turn my thesis into a book. Once I saw the thesis, I said, "Ooh, this could be a really, really good book."
Yeah.
And so I undertook all the work, 4.5 years it took to write the book and release it. And we hit the USA Today in the middle of February when it came out.
That's so fantastic. Congratulations on all your
Yeah,
success. Now,
yeah.
I understand you have a podcast too. Are you still doing that?
Yes, yes. So Adventures
Yes.
in Business podcast with my co-host Mandy Graziano. We'll have to get you on the podcast. I'll send you
I
the
would
link.
love that.
And we just talk to people, primarily like hospitality, meeting event planners about what's going on in the space. We talk to
Okay.
speakers as well. And it's just like educational. We've been doing it now since July of 2022. So we're coming up on 3 years. And
Wonderful.
yeah, that's the podcast.
Wonderful. Love it. Okay. So I know you were also, like, as if you weren't already enough things, you were also a professor, correct?
Yes, yes,
Yes.
yes.
Now, tell me a little bit, as a professor at Cal State, how did you incorporate the elements of your DJ culture into your teaching methods? And did you?
So that's a good question. So at Cal State Fullerton, What I would do is during my first 2 semesters, I would actually bring my turntables to class towards one of the final days of class and kind of show them. Then we had the pandemic and that kind of messed things up. So now when I have a virtual class, I'll open up class by DJing with them. That's one thing. I'll DJ with them virtually, like through Zoom. Then I also created a music business class at the university, and that's where I can talk to them about like DJ life and music industry because that's what I'm teaching on and that's what I study. So it always kind of filters into the class, whether it's music we're playing while we're studying, or maybe it's a lesson I can share that I've learned through DJing. So it always kind of sprinkles in here and there.
Nice. I like that. Very good.
Yeah.
Do you still teach?
Yes, yes. So we teach. It's spring break this week, so I get a little break, but I still teach there, and I teach 4 classes: the music business class I created, and then a couple other entertainment operations classes. And I love it. I love teaching. It's fun and it's a lot of work, but I get a lot of joy from it.
And reward from it. I know my
Yeah.
son's a fifth grade teacher, and I could
Mm.
see how he feels the reward when he comes home and tells me about it. I love that.
Okay. I
Hmm.
thought you were gonna say your son is in the 5th grade, but you have a son that's a 5th grade teacher. I'm like,
Yes.
what? You just wow, that's crazy. But okay,
I
props to
know, it's
you.
crazy. I have
Congrats.
a 30-year-old big boy.
Wow. Congrats to you. Wow.
Thank you. Thank you. So, I have a couple fun questions for you.
Sure, sure.
Given that you are a hospitality and music person, if you could create any brand, what would your brand be of the combination of your loves, and what would you do to make it so unique? Give me one or two things. What do you think you could dream up to make this a
Right.
unique brand of hospitality and music?
Oh, let me think here. Maybe like a combination of, let's say, like a coffee house with
Ooh.
music playing, but the food they serve would only be pancakes because I love pancakes. So it's like a pancake coffee house that plays music and people can come to study and meet up there. That's what I would create.
I love this. That's fantastic. I love that. Tell us something. This is one just offhand. Tell us something that we might not know about you. What that might surprise us.
That might surprise you.
Do you have any?
I was on stage for American Idol one time. I was there. What else?
So
I
wait. So let's back up for a second. Do you have musical talent besides DJing? Like, do you sing and play?
No singing. I could play the piano decently. No singing. It was actually for a volunteer organization that we were recognized by American Idol to help him, so they brought us on
Oh,
stage. That's
okay.
why. And I'm trying to think of another fun thing. I like. I make award-winning sweet potato pie.
Oh,
There you go.
all right. Next time we get together,
Yes.
September
Yes.
at the
September.
BBG.
Yes. Yes. Let's go. Let's go. Yes, for sure. Yes.
I love that. That's a great one. Now, if you were able to assemble a modern day R&B supergroup, who would it be and why?
Okay. We would have Jasmine Sullivan as lead singer. Our songwriter would be Babyface. Our other singers would be Brandy. We would also have Luke James as a singer. And who else? We might have, I'll say Tank as another singer in there because he can sing and play the instruments. That would be my super group right there.
I love it. I feel like you've put some thought into that.
I was ready for that question.
Oh,
Somehow
were
I
you?
was ready. I was ready. I didn't even know you were asking, but I've been put some thought to that. I've been ready.
I
So
I love it. Okay. Well, it's the time of the show where I ask you a question from our last guest. Are you ready for it? It's deep.
okay, I'm ready. Yes.
Okay. What needs to happen between now and your last breath that you can be wearing a smile?
Huh. I would just say if I'm able to close the knowledge gap in the music industry from the artist to the industry so that artists can consistently make better business decisions when it comes to their work. If I'm able to do that, I would leave the earth with a smile.
I love that. I love how you're so encompassed in music. I want to also ask you, do you know Calvin Stowell? Calvin Stovall, He is a hospitality guy, and he blends all of his things with music, and everything he talks about is iconic. That's his
Okay.
framework,
Okay.
iconic, and
Yeah,
his
yeah.
iconic presentations, the crescendo of customer experience.
Okay. No, no,
And
no,
he's
but
got an amazing book coming out very soon, hopefully July, and it's all about hospitality and kind of like Green Book, the Green Book, but with hospitality and Black hotel owners and whatnot. He's an amazing human being. And if you don't know him, you need
yeah.
to know him.
Okay. Send me a link to his stuff. I'll check him out.
Yeah,
Nice.
I will. I'll connect you two on LinkedIn.
Okay. Thank you.
He's super cool. All right, Amani, what is your question for our next guest?
Ooh. See, I was going to be pretty predictable with the question I love to ask people. Maybe I should ask something
And you could do that.
different. I'll say, what is your favorite mistake you've made in life, and what did you learn from that?
Oh, I love that. Mine is getting Botox.
I mean, that's okay. I mean, maybe, but okay. Okay, if you say so.
Oh
Yes.
my God, that's funny. Okay, that's a good one. I can't wait to ask the next guest
Yeah.
that. So
Yeah, for sure.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Great job. First of all, where can people get your book, learn more about you, hire you to come speak at their conference?
Yes, all the things, just go to amaniexperience.com. That's A like Apple, M like Mary, A like Apple, N like Nancy, I, the word experience.com. You can pick there's an option there to pick the book, speaking, coaching, all the things. That's where you can find me.
Love it. And is there any last tip that you'd love to give our hospitality leaders or any leaders that are out there listening today? Because you know how hard it is in our industry. You know, it's fun and it's thrilling and it's rewarding, but it can be hard.
Yeah,
Is there any
yeah.
tip that you want to share?
Maybe just don't be afraid to take risks. The older you get, a lot of times we get more reticent in terms of taking risks, but don't be afraid to take risks no matter if you're 1 year into your career or 30 years. Keep taking risks because that's when the magic happens.
That's what I agree with you 100%. Get out of that comfort zone. I love it.
Yes, yes.
Amani, I am so blessed that we got to meet last week and to have you here and now call you friend. Thank you
Yes.
so much for coming and enlightening our audience today.
My pleasure, Christine. Thank you for having me.
You're so welcome. And I'll look forward to our next conversation.
Yes, likewise.
Thank you.
That's a wrap for today's show. Say yes to taking action and changing the world one yes at a time. And oh, my friend, will you say yes to review, like, and subscribe? The more yeses you give, the more juicy goodness I can bring to all of you wise pineapples. Cool or cool?